So here's the last one I did. You see, I've cut a little channel here for the string to travel in, but this channel is kind of too far back from where the actual roller comes down. So I'm going to try to compensate for that bit of business with the next one. So I get more of so the string leans a little bit more this way, because some of these, I'm putting bass strings on this guitar, so these need to be have a little more curve back to them. And here's the actual pull itself. It has a little notch cut out for the string to travel in. And likewise here, there's a little notch on the back here for the when the string that comes through here travels down through this hole, I've got a little notch there for it to be able to travel through as well. Anyway, that's the ideal of it. This is one that I just pulled out. This is a pull that I just pulled out of this tuner head here. The way this is set up now is this is my blocks for the next one, and what I do is these are made out of two parts. You'll see these bolts, through bolts running through from here into the front piece. And you'll see me often with things that I make. I don't bother to mill all of the surfaces, but in this case, you'd have to. And the reason why is that you need this tight mating surface between this block and this block, as you see here. You know, it's a pretty tight line. You know, if you're not looking for it, you don't notice it, but it's there. It's an essential part of the way it works, this division between the front and the back. So I use these, little, for rollers, I use these little V bearings, and I get them on Amazon. They're just a little V bearing, and I run a piece of 1/8 inch rod through here to hold the whole thing together. You can see it over here. This is 1/8 inch rod just running through all these V bearings all the way down. A lot of guys will tell you that you need to have matched heights all the way across, and if you got the patience for that kind of thing, then more power to you. I'm not going to do it on this. I may have to for some of the bigger strings, as I said, I'm putting bass strings on here. But this is what I have been using, and it works pretty good. Al Briscoe, you know, I got talking to him once about having the bearings, the strings completely flat across the top. And he said it was overrated. He's a pretty good player. He said it's completely unnecessary to do that. Many would argue with that and say that you need to, but this is the way I'm doing it. So this is the slot that the rod will travel in. It's marked out there. This will be the front, corresponding to this surface. This will be the back, corresponding to this surface. And then you'll see there's a little bit, there's just a kind of 1/8 of an inch here. And that will be where I will cut some slots in I'll cut grooves like this for the string travel in, so it doesn't bind up in the whole thing. You'll see that as we go about this. And the rest of it is just laid out with, I use blue, and I just cut these lines with the digital caliper. That's what I use. These little, these are the actual string pulls, and they're made out of these blocks. And once again, these are surfaced all four sides, and the reason for that is that they're traveling inside. If you look here, you'll see there's a very thin separator here. They're traveling in a fairly tight track there, so they have to be machined sharp. These are about 5/16 thick, and they're traveling in this space here on this guitar is 3/8 of an inch. I've done them on other guitars where it's tighter, but I want to keep the 3/8 inch string spacing from the bridge all the way back to the tuners, because it just makes it easier when you're doing bends to be able to, slants, to be able to hit those if the strings are parallel all the way along. Anyway, that's the basic idea. So hopefully I will be able to show you this whole process. I keep thinking I'm going to show you things, and then I kind of forget in the heat of the moment, and I just build the things, and then next thing I know, I've got a bucket full of parts, and I never did a video on it. So hopefully I'll keep track of this and keep you posted on it. Anyway, hopefully you'll find this interesting. These blocks that I use for the tuners themselves, I also use them as separators here. I'll use these for lifters in the middle. So I'll just put this up here and this up here. Sit that block on top of there, and you can see that it's hitting the line that I have there. So that's how I get that gop off there. And you can see I've got it marked out on the back of the block as well. So anyway, that's the start of the process. Hopefully it's making sense. I'll show you a bit about the tuner head itself. This is pretty obvious how it works, but what's not obvious is the bottom, and the bottom side looks like this. Now, these are threaded holes. All of these holes you see here are threaded holes, and they sit on the that's where the screws, just basic 832 threaded screws with a washer. These are what are holding it onto the guitar itself. So that's how it's held on. That's what those screw holes are for. I can show you here how this works. It's difficult to do this and hold on to it at the same time, especially when your fingers are as dumb as mine. So this is the tuning screw. That goes down, and you'll see there's a little fork cut in there, kind of like a comb, or a fork, and that's how that slots in there. And then this part just goes in there, and threads in, and that will, if you turn the screw on the other side, that'll thread that right down there. Anyway, so that's the basic idea. I'll see you in the next bit, I guess.